Peace to the 12. Not sure what I'm going to title this video. It's a review on the movie Smile, though. I think I'll title it Smile, based on true events. And this movie was heavily influenced by Wisdom of Solomon, the 17th chapter. And before anybody wants to get on here and, start clickety-clacking and saying, you don't know what you're talking about, hey, man, just shut up and watch the video. All right, so I'm going to show you why I say this movie was pretty much based completely off of Wisdom of Solomon, the 17th chapter. All right. You can find Wisdom of Solomon in your Apocrypha, which is originally part of the King James Bible. Anyway, so when it starts off in Exodus, you go to chapter 10, verse 21. It tells you, "And the Lord said unto Moses, stretch out thine hand toward heaven, that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, even darkness which may be felt." All right. And then it's kind of vague in that regard when it talks about the darkness. But in Wisdom of Solomon, it goes into further detail about what was actually happening in that darkness that was cast over the land of Egypt. Now, with all that being said, let's get to this review. And then, like I said, it's mostly going to be based on Wisdom of Solomon, but I got other things too. We're going to kick it off with Wisdom of Solomon 17:3, right? So it said, "For while they supposed to lie hid in their secret sins." What was the secret sin of this woman, right? Well, and obviously there's going to be spoilers. What was the secret sin of this woman? Well, it turned out that her mother had taken a bunch of pills and she ran off on her. All right, which led to her demise through overdose. That was a secret sin, right? They were scattered under a dark veil of forgetfulness. Yeah, and she had forgot that she had did that. All right. Being horribly astonished and troubled with strange apparitions. All right. Now, what does the word apparitions mean? I'm actually about to get it. I should have already included it, but I'm about to get it. All right. Strange apparitions. I'm going to get that definition real quick. My bad for not being that organized, I guess. But here goes the definition of apparitions. Right here. Bear with me 1 second. Apparitions. A ghost or a ghost-like image of a person. See that? So they were troubled with strange apparitions, and she was troubled with strange apparitions by what? Seeing, well, number one, at the end, what she saw her dead mother. And then when you go to the beginning of the movie, when she was dealing with that patient that ultimately stabbed herself with the glass, she said she was seeing her dead grandma or something like that. So they were astonished and troubled by the strange apparitions. Remember, she saw her mother, but it wasn't really her mother. All right. Wisdom of Solomon 17:4. Right? "For neither might the corner that held them keep them from fear." What was the corner that held them? What was in her corner? Rationale, logic, reason. The things that she had accumulated in her youth by going to college and getting a degree in psychology or therapy or whatever she was into. Right? That was the corner that held them. But it didn't keep her from fear. Why? Because all that logic and reason went out the window when she started seeing the smiling faces, just like the other people. All right. "But noises as of waters falling down sounded about them, and sad visions appeared unto them with heavy countenances." Once again, what was the sad vision? See the tears in her face. The sad vision was she got to relive what she had experienced with the mom situation. All right. And as far as the noises that were as of falling down sounded about them, yeah, remember in the movie, right? In the movie, periodically, she would hear things that weren't really there. Like, for example, when she got the phone call, and she called, and it was her therapist, right? When she got the phone call from her therapist, it turned out that phone never really rang. All right. Actually, no, that's not what happened. Salakia. What happened was the therapist came, knocked on the door, So she answered it. She got to talk to her therapist. The phone rang. Her therapist said, answer the phone. Turns out it really wasn't a therapist. So I said all that to say this. That was the noise that was coming about. All right, she was hearing phones that wasn't really ringing and stuff like that throughout the movie. All right, still don't believe me that this was based off Wisdom of Solomon? Well, just wait, there's more. Wisdom of Solomon 17:5. No power of the fire might give them light. Now, she had a lamp, right? She had a lamp in the movie, and it was on fire. It was a kerosene lamp. All right, but the power of that fire could not give her light. Yes, she could see, but remember, she wasn't really seeing. She was seeing apparitions. All right, they weren't really there in the physical world, so to speak. So the power of the fire did not give her light. Neither could the bright flames of the stars endure to lighten that horrible night. And it was nighttime when she was doing this. And then she was faced the true form of the smile demon. And yes, I said demon. Wisdom of Solomon 17:6. Only there appeared unto them a fire kindled of itself, very dreadful, for being much terrified, they thought the things which they saw to be worse than the sight they saw not. All right. Now it says, only there appeared unto them a fire kindled of itself. Remember, when she had the lamp, in her mind, she believed she smacked him with the lamp, and she set him on fire. But in reality, the demon had allowed himself to be smacked with the fire. He did that whole charade, made himself seem to be on fire. All right. So he kindled the fire on himself. Because remember, she really didn't set him on fire. Because when all things came back, she hadn't even really went in the house yet. Well, y'all remember when all that happened. All right. Wisdom of Solomon 17:7. As for the illusions of art, magic, they were put down, and their vaunting in wisdom was reproved with disgrace. That's right. As far as art magic is concerned in this movie, I wouldn't really call it art magic, so to speak. But what she did have were cold case files. Salakia. She had cold case files. Remember, she was accumulating all these files on all these people that had committed seppuku, you know, because I don't want to use the sua word, because you know how YouTube be. But the people that off they selves, right? She had a cold case of them files, and she was seeing their names and their reports. So she had all, and she was also looking at the art that the Hispanic woman's husband had done. Remember the Hispanic man? He had drawn pictures of what the smile demon looked like and all that type of stuff. All right. As far as the part where it says, and their vaunting in wisdom was reproved with disgrace. Yeah, her vaunting in wisdom was disproved with disgrace. Why is that? Because when she was speaking, originally, remember, when Shorty walked up on her and was telling her that, oh no, I'm not crazy. I'm a PhD major. You know, I did this, and this. I'm an honor student, this and that. She responded with, no, listen, you're dealing with post-trauma. You know, you got PTSD. You're dealing with this. You're dealing with that. Psychoses and all that other shit. So she was trying to reprove her. All right, she was vaunting her wisdom, the wisdom she had accumulated via the study of disorders. But that was all reproved and put back on her because she started to see the things that she was skeptical of from the woman saying. And all throughout the movie, she kept trying to tell people she wasn't crazy, just like the woman was telling her, man. All right. Wisdom of Solomon 17:8. For they that promise to drive away terrors and troubles from a sick soul. Now this is what were sick themselves of fear, worthy to be laughed at. Now this is what really stuck out to me, right? Because why? For they that promise to drive away terrors and troubles from a sick soul. That was her whole job. Her whole job was to help out people. And this dude right here, he was a sick soul. And she was trying to get him from the terror. Oh wait, no, nobody's gonna die. Yada yada yada. Remember, she was telling them that. All right, she had promised to drive away the terrors and troubles from a sick soul. He was a sick soul, but what happened? Were sick themselves of fear, worthy to be laughed at. Yeah, she was sick herself, man, and everybody thought she was crazy, and all that, man. Her whole world got turned upside down, which was a theme in the movie the whole time. It was a theme in the movie the whole time. Well, remember, it kept doing still shots of the world being upside down. All right, they showed the city upside down. They showed the house upside down. They kept showing it. Even right now in this picture I show you, right? This woman's head is upside down. Twisted upside down. Her whole world was turned upside down. Right? Wisdom of Solomon 17 and 11. And I skipped certain verses. So check out the whole chapter of Wisdom of Solomon 17. You might see some things that I might have missed in this chapter that go with the movie. Anyway, Wisdom of Solomon 17 and 11. For wickedness condemned by her own witness, right, is very timorous. Timorous means full of fear. All right. And being pressed with conscience always forecasteth grievous things. Now remember, she was the wickedness was condemned by her own witness. She witnessed this woman off herself, all right, down carve her face off like a pumpkin, all right, and then hit the neck, all that. She witnessed all that. And after she witnessed that, what happened? It was pressed within her conscience. Always forecasted grievous things. And the forecast of grievous things was what? She was going to meet the same fate. She was going to smile and off herself like the people that had done it before her. All right. That was even a thing in the movie. Remember, they said it has to be people have to witness a traumatic event. And after that person witnesses that traumatic event, a demon will hop on them. That's what happened to her. She witnessed this event, and then it hopped on her. All right. Wisdom of Solomon 17 and 12. For fear is nothing else but a betraying of the succors which reason offereth. Exactly. That's what fear is. When your security has been compromised. All right. Your feelings of security is compromised, which reason offereth. Meaning you have all the reasons, you have it all thought out. But when something happens that you cannot explain, that's when fear really creeps in. Or when you're placed in an event that you don't know the outcome of. Once again, that's where fear sets in, lest you have hope. Right? See, hope is the offset counter to fear. Because with faith and with hope, you also don't know what's yet to come. But you have the belief that you will be delivered from said thing. But when you don't have that belief, that thing of the unknown is replaced with fear. You have the fear of the unknown. All right, so that's what fear really is. An example of being fear of what you can't understand, or let me read this again. For fear is nothing else but a betraying of the succors which reason offereth. An example of that would be when Frieza saw Goku go Super Saiyan, right? He was like, what is that? Because he had never, it didn't compute in his mind. He didn't really think the legend was real. All right, so that's just one example. Now let's go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 17 and verse 14 and 15. I'm going to get both of them, right? But they sleep in the same sleep that night, which was indeed intolerable, and which came upon them out of the bottoms of inevitable hell. Inevitable hell meaning the grave, the inevitable grave. Hell means the grave. Once again, I'll do a breakdown on hell on a different time. My brother asked me to do it. So, but what? The sleeping was intolerable, right? The sleeping was intolerable. Remember, she couldn't get no sleep. She couldn't get no sleep. She was biting her nails. She had them bags on her eyes. They showed a scene when she was looking into the window and she was putting makeup on her eyes to cover off the bags to simulate to the viewer that she was getting her sleep, but she wasn't. All right. And even before this, she wasn't getting her sleep. Before this, remember, because dude told her she was working 80 hours. So she wasn't getting sleep before that. But anyway, Wisdom of Solomon 17 and 15. This is why they couldn't get no sleep. Were partly vexed with monstrous apparitions again, and partly fainted, their heart failing them, for a sudden fear and not looked for came upon them. And she had the apparition once again of her therapist. Remember, this wasn't really her therapist. This was that demon. And the dude, and this one right here, before she lost her damn mind, remember she told him, look, you're going to see things that looks like people you know, but it's not really them. Which is funny, because going to see this movie, I went to go see this movie with my brother yesterday. So I'm recording this a day after yesterday. But I went to see this movie with my brother, and before we even went to go see this movie, I was breaking it down to my brother that demons, oftentimes people see things that look like they people, or they try to do all form of evil witchcrafts like Ouija boards and stuff, and think they're talking to their relative or whatever. But in reality, they're talking to a demon. And I was breaking it down to him that demons know the things we like, what we dislike, and this and that. But that would be another video for another day. But yeah, So you might see something that looks like Uncle Johnny, and that's not really Uncle Johnny. That's a familiar spirit. Really, it's a demon. All right, an angel on the left hand side, an evil angel, so to speak. All right, but anyway, gotta be in another video. Yeah, they were vexed with monstrous apparitions. She couldn't get no sleep. Remember, she pointed a knife at her homie. Remember, Becky pointed the knife at the Jake. All right, she had that nightmare, and he was like, "This bitch is crazy." Was she? But Wisdom of Solomon 17:16, right? So then, whosoever there fell down was straitly kept, shut up in a prison without iron bars. Now this, to me, was shown through this guy. Remember this dude in the prison. He was in the prison. Now it says without iron bars. Well, I took my take on that is he was in prison, but he was doing decent until the woman came and told him that she had the thing on him. And remember, he started freaking out. All right, the vex started getting him, man. All right, and he was already in prison. He was the one that beat it, so he started freaking out. All right, so he was in prison without bars because when she went to go speak to him, he wasn't even behind bars. All right. Wisdom of Solomon 17:17. For whether he were husbandman or shepherd or laborer in the field, he was overtaken. And look, it's giving you list of people. Whether you were a husbandman, meaning you were tending to the gardens, or you were a shepherd, you were tending to the flocks, or you were a laborer, you were still overtaken. That's an example of, remember, multiple people had this demon on them. It was a guy, he was a teacher. This woman was a PhD degree. This woman was a therapist. You had people after that. You had 20 people. You know, we don't know what this guy was doing, but it was all walks of life. But all of them were overtaken, all right, by this apparition, and endured that necessity which could not be avoided, for they were all bound with one chain of darkness. Yeah, they were all bound. They were all linked. Why? Because one had witnessed the traumatic event, one after another, after another, after another, right? And that demon was just passed on to them, and they were all overtaken ultimately, you know, and they killed themselves, except this guy and the dude from Brazil who they never showed. But yeah, 19 out of 20 cases. That was how many people had off they self. Wisdom of Solomon 17:18, right? Whether it were a whistling wind or a melodious noise of birds among the spreading branches, or a pleasing fall of water running violently, or a terrible sound of stones cast down, or a running that could not be seen of skipping beasts, or a roaring voice of most savage wild beasts, or a rebounding echo from the hollow mountains, these things made them to swoon for fear. So this is a list of all the different things. Remember, these were all apparitions that they saw. Once again, what is an apparition? I already told you. An apparition is a ghost or ghost-like image of a person. The appearance of something remarkable or unexpected. All right. That's what an apparition is. Again, so coming back, whether it be a terrible sound of stones or whatever it was that they were seeing, it had the same result. And ultimately, whatever it is that they were seeing, and ultimately they all killed themselves. They all offed themselves in different manner and forms in the movie. You had the guy who stabbed himself with the shears, so the woman pulled her eyes out or whatever it is she did. You had the woman that cut herself with the neck. You had the main character who ultimately set herself on fire. All right, they were seeing all manner of things. Rather, it was this girl. Remember, we don't know what she was seeing, but she freaked out, and then she was seeing something else entirely. So it didn't matter what they seen, it ended in the same result. You understand? So, Wisdom of Solomon 17:20. For the whole world shined with clear light, and none were hindered in their labor. Exactly. The whole world shined with clear light, and none were hindered in their labor. Meaning what? The people that were outside of this chain of darkness, the people that were outside of this one chain of darkness, the people that were outside of what these people were experiencing, they were living life normal. They didn't see none of that shit that was going on. And they just thought they was crazy. None of these dudes seen it, man. All right? None of them seen it. They were like, what the hell are you talking about? He started believing that at the end. But these guys didn't believe him, man. Why? Because their whole world shined with a clear light and nothing was hindered. All right? And I like to use this guy as an example especially because he's an Israelite, man. So once again, we were protected from the darkness that Moses cast over the Egyptians. But I just wanted to add that in now. All right. And now that I think about it, actually, he made it. This so-called black man made it. And this so-called black man made it. You know, I wonder why. All right. And the guy that was close to figuring it out was the Hispanic dude. But, you know, I wonder why this guy made it and this guy made it. You know, he didn't experience it, but this guy did experience it and he still made it out. So just something to think about. But Wisdom of Solomon 17-21. Over them only, over them only, not of these guys, but the people that were affected, the afflicted, with the what? With the one chain of darkness, right? Wisdom of Solomon 17-21. Over them only was spread in heavy night an image of that darkness which should afterward receive them. See, them only. See that? Let me underline that. Over them only. Which should afterward receive them. What does it mean receive them? It ultimately overtook them. And they killed themselves, man. They offed themselves in the movie. But yet were they unto themselves more grievous than the darkness. Exactly. All right, the apparitions were very grievous unto them in this movie, man. All right. And like I said, this dude obviously was influenced by Wisdom of Solomon 17. Hey, a lot of these movies you see are influenced by the scriptures. I've went over this many times when I did the review on the movie Nope, when I did a thing on Mass Effect. You know, I probably did other things I can't even remember. But, yeah. Wisdom of Solomon 17-21. Oh, I already did that, Salakia. And it said what? An image of that darkness which should afterward receive them. Ultimately, the thing ended up receiving them. Got in their mouth. The demon went into their mouth and overtook them, and they were destroyed. Which, that's the end of the Wisdom of Solomon breakdown. And I'm going to go over a couple other things to close this out before I end the video, right? A couple slides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 slides, right? I want to see the many mouths. When the demon showed us many mouths, what does that represent? Many demons. All right, let's get that example in Mark 5 and 6, the example of Legion. But when he saw yahawashi far off, he ran and worshipped him, which lets you know that demons do indeed fall in line under yahawashi. I've went over that many times. They're not doing their own thing. Because why would a demon go and worship yahawashi? Yahawashi is the true name of the Lord, who is commonly known as Jesus. All right, Mark 5 and 7. And cried with a loud voice and said, what have I to do with thee, yahawashi, thou son of the Most High God? I adjure thee by God that thou torment me not. So this demon was able to recognize that yahawashi was the son of the Most High God. For he said unto him, come out of that man, thou unclean spirit. And that's what this demon represented. He represented an unclean spirit. All right, verse 9. And he asked him, what is thy name? And he answered, saying, my name is Legion, for we are many. All right, he said, my name is Legion, for we are many. Meaning what? Many demons. And a legion could be 4,000 to 6,000 soldiers. All right, in a group of 80 centurions. So that's what the many mouths represents, the many demons. All right. So when he said, my name is Legion, for we are many, meaning what? We, meaning there are many unclean spirits in this one person. And that's what it meant when he opened their mouths up. All right, and understand, these demons are sent by the Most High. You can read Isaiah 45 and 7. It tells you he controls the light and the darkness. I should have included that, but read Isaiah 45 and 7. You know, a matter of fact, I'm gonna give it to you for the free. Let me get it. Isaiah 45 and 7. You know, give it to you for the free. Let me get Isaiah 45 and 7. Let me show you. Something. I'm going to go ahead and get 8 too. Actually, I'm just going to end it there. I mean, on this point. Isaiah 45 and 7. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. See, the Lord do all these things, man, which people do not like to acknowledge, but it's written. All right, it's written. And with that, the Lord sent people. All right, let's get 1 Kings, the account, 22, 19 through 23, right? Let's get it. And he said, hear thou therefore the word of the Lord. I saw the Lord sitting on his throne, and all the hosts of heaven standing by him on his right hand and on his left. What are all the hosts of heaven? The spirits, all the angels. All right, what does it mean stand on his right? The righteous angels, and on the left are the unclean spirits, the evil angels, so to speak. You can read in Psalms by sending evil angels. Let me get that account too while I'm at it. See, I'm giving y'all some more game. I didn't even have this in there, man. But that's how the spirit works. Let's get that. Evil. Let's get that real quick. Evil angels. Psalm 78 and 49. He cast upon them the fierceness of his anger, wrath and indignation and trouble by sending evil angels among them. See, the Most High sent what? Evil angels among them. See that? That's the Most High that did that. He controls the good and the evil. I'll tell you that in Isaiah 45 and 7. I, the Lord, do all these things. And that's what it means, the ones on the left. Who's on the left? The evil angels. And the Lord said, who shall persuade Ahab that he might go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead? And one said on this manner, and another said on that manner. So he's having to sit down. Hey, who gonna get him out the way? Talking to his spirits. And there came forth a spirit and stood before the Lord and said, I will persuade him. And the Lord said unto him, wherewith? And he said, I will go forth, and I will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. And he said, thou shalt persuade him and prevail also. Go forth and do so. So wait, the Most High said what? He said, thou shalt persuade him and prevail also and go forth. So the Lord said, all right, yeah, you go ahead and do that thing. And guess what? You're going to succeed. Now, therefore, behold, the Lord has put a lying spirit in the mouth of all these thy prophets, and the Lord has spoken evil concerning thee. So the Most High sent the hit, and he told him what? Not only am I going to send you to do it, but you're going to prevail also. Right? Which brings me to my next point, which is that whenever the Lord sends an arrow, man, it's going to hit. Hey, the Most High don't miss. All right, which makes me go back to this movie. The movie was very realistic when it comes to demons. All right, because once again, once the Lord sends a demon to do his job and he tells him he's going to prevail, hey, he going to do that thing. And remember, there was no happy ending, man. There was no happy ending because the Most High sent her to do that and it prevailed. She wasn't able to use her own will to outdo the will of the Spirit. So it was a realistic thing, man. And that's the scripture. 2 Ezra 16 and 13. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp and shall not miss. See that? Shall not miss. Them arrows ain't missing, man. When they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. So when he send that hit, all right, when he say you're going to prevail also, hey, they're going to prevail. And that demon prevailed in the movie, man. All right, and there are ways to get the spirits off you according to yahawashi, Matthew 17 and 18. And yahawashi rebuked the devil, and he departed out of him, and the child was cured from that very hour. Then came the disciples to yahawashi apart and said, why could not we cast him out? And yahawashi said unto them, because of your unbelief. For verily I say unto you, if you have faith as a grain of a mustard seed, you shall say unto the mountain, remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you. Howbeit, this kind goeth not out but by prayer and fasting. So yahawashi said, in order to rebuke this particular demon, you needed prayer and fasting. You don't need to try to use your will and demons leave me alone, the demon run away. It don't work like that. He gave you the blueprint. Another way to cut up a demon is to go into the scriptures. All right, that's why when yahawashi got tempted into the wilderness, what was he doing? He was quoting scriptures. That's why he told him what? As it is written, man shall not live by bread and water alone, but by the word of God, by every word of the living God, man. All right, he was quoting the scriptures. That's another way you cut up a demon. I might do a video on that later, and I'm going to get one more slide. And this is what they were plagued with, man. Deuteronomy 28:28. The Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart. And that's what they were played with in this movie. This guy was smoked with madness. They had astonishment of heart. You know, it was crazy, man. And that's pretty much my take on the movie Smile, man. It was definitely heavily influenced by Wisdom of Solomon 17. All right, hopefully you brothers were edifying. I'm going to close out. I want to say once again, peace to the 12. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High Yahawah. In the name of His only begotten Son, yahawashi. All right, Yahawah, the name of the Heavenly Father, who is commonly known as God. Yahawashi is the Savior of the nation of Israel, who is commonly known as Jesus Christ. I want to say shalom, which means peace to you brothers listening and learning, to you brothers that's doing this work in truth and sincerity, and to you elders that's been doing this thing before me. I'm gone.